Breaking Bad is a show known for its gripping drama, deeply layered characters, its many standout performances, and its nuanced take on both the neo-western and the crime drama. But what's not talked about enough is the fact that it's also wildly funny.
Got some big cow house way out that way, like 2 miles, but I don't see nobody.
Cow house?
Yeah, where they live. The cows.
Now, some of this stems in part from the fact that many of the actors are themselves either literal comedians or simply very proven in the genre, but I think it's a bit deeper than that. Take away the darkness and the brutality of it, and the many sensitive topics that it covers, such as drug addiction and broken homes, and Breaking Bad is as perfect of a sitcom premise as you can get. And it makes me wonder that if no one had picked up his dramatic pilot, as stories have often claimed was very close to happening, would Vince Gilligan have turned his story about a man dying of cancer transforming into a meth kingpin into something with even more of a comedic bent? I want to focus this video essay on this scene right here, from the Season 4 episode Bullet Points, as it's not only the funniest scene in the entire show, but a perfect meta-commentary on the series as a whole that really never gets talked about. It's a doozy, so hold on to your hats. In the scene, Walter and Skyler are preparing for a dinner with Hank, Marie, and Jr., where they plan to reveal a fake story on how Walt won all of his money gambling. This scene follows a mini montage of Skyler concocting the lie, even dragging Walt along with her to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting to find some inspiration for the story. Although not set up in the episode, Skyler's gambling story was essentially the perfect lie, and even more perfect for the audience as it serves as a brilliant metaphor for Walt gambling his life away with his crime pursuits, especially in the 4th season and with the growing intensity between him and Gus. But we should note that it's Skyler who leads this lie in the scene at hand, and Skyler who creates what Walt sarcastically labels a novella explaining their situation. What makes this scene both comedic gold and such an important character moment is how naturally both Walter and Skyler redefine themselves when they know that they're forced to tell a lie and have time to prepare. In this moment, Skyler isn't just going along with Walt's crimes and defending herself, she's adding to the problem. She's playing offense. Walter, much unlike the conniving son of a bitch he almost always is no longer controlling the ship. In fact, it almost seems like he wants it to crash. And I'm not implying that Walt wants to be caught, but as his actions have displayed in the past and how they will in the future, he's much more apt and interested in making the spontaneous decision or last-minute escape than he is with meticulously planning his all-too-common fabrications. And this is where both the humor and the drama of the scene come from. Skyler's utter commitment to the bit, and Walt's uncharacteristic absence from the driver's seat. His pride, however, is still very much present.
Okay, so I'm going to launch with the exciting news that we are buying a car wash.
Yay. This is probably my favorite little moment of the entire scene. Bryan Cranston's body language here adds so much to the writing and is so aggressively passive-aggressive. The humorous moment continues with Skyler explaining to Walt her answer to the question of why they are buying a car wash.
To which I'll say, we want to tell you the whole story. It's a doozy, so hold on to your hats. Do you like that?
Sure.
Now, Skyler's prepared line is very, very stupid, but compared to everything else, it is just so unimportant. So the fact that Walter is so clearly disappointed with Skyler's writing here is very funny. And he continues to do this, later singling out the line, "I am terribly, terribly ashamed of my actions," and arguing that he would never use the word terribly, let alone twice in a sentence, which is just nonsense and very petty. There's also this moment shortly before.
I'm coming clean with Hank and Junior. Appearing to come clean.
Now, this isn't a funny moment, but this Freudian slip demonstrates the slippery slope of Walt's actions, just how easy it is for not only Walt, but the usually moral Skyler to start believing in their lie. Skyler feeling bad for nearly not making the distinction between the lie and the truth also demonstrates that she still has a moral compass, which makes the fact that she's gone so far out of her way to craft this performance pretty ironic. She also does her best to make Walt feel bad any chance she has, like when she gives him this little piece of direction.
Really touch on the fear and despair. It's good to remind them and to get their sympathy right off the bat. We want them to understand why you could do something so stupid.
It's through this script that Skyler is able to subtly take jabs at Walt and reveal her true feelings. This is explored further later in the scene when, after glancing through Skyler's script, Walt's priority shifts once again. Still not worrying about the logic or performance of the lie, he instead turns his attention to how Junior would perceive him, stating that the script makes him and only him look like crap, to which Skyler retorts that, for a fired school teacher who cooks crystal meth, I'd say you're coming out pretty much ahead. followed by the most important line in the entire scene.
At least you won at gambling. I'm just the bitch mom who wouldn't cut you any slack.
And I say that this is the most important line because it's such a head-on commentary on how the show and we as an audience view these two characters. As Ellen Jones states in her article vindicating the character of Skyler White, the narrative of Breaking Bad doesn't allow us to understand Skyler's perspective, and this is by design. Skyler being deeply judgmental, cold, and generally unlikable helps us sympathize with a character like Walter White. Even though her actions and views are justifiable, they make the story far less interesting, which is why her character is seen as the Debbie Downer. If she got her way, then Walt wouldn't be cooking meth or dueling with Gus Fring, and who wants that? Jones writes that she's annoying not just by comparison to Walt, but precisely because she is what series creator Vince Gilligan always intended her to be, the voice of morality of the show. And when you're trying to kick back and enjoy the moral gray area of a great drama, a voice that's constantly reminding you of right and wrong is bound to be grating. Skyler's line, because it's Skyler commenting on her own character, demands that we step back and reevaluate how we look at her and Walt. It's also a way for the writers to tell us viewers that, hey doofuses, she's supposed to be unlikable. In response to this line, Walt presents us with one of the greatest bait and switch moments on the show.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I put you through all of this. How's that sound?
This is one of those moments in Breaking Bad where Walt is just so cruel that you just have to laugh. Not only is it gloriously meta, but Walt's brilliant acting further demonstrates his aptitude for improvisation and how it contrasts Skyler's dedication to rehearsal. It also warrants the question, how much of the apology was acting, and how much of it was whatever goodness Walt still had inside of him trying to get out. The scene concludes with Skyler doing her best to figure out how the two should realistically express their emotions, which Walt meets with annoyed forehead rubbing and even more sardonic questioning, poking fun at the level of detail that Skyler has put into this plan.
When you dab your eyes, you're going to do it with your right hand or your left hand?
It's just an idea.
1 tear, 2 tears?
Skyler then defends herself by arguing that perhaps lying doesn't come as easy to her as it does to him, which is a great dramatic closing line, but also subtly amusing because it's not really true. She's actually a pretty great liar. In fact, it's Skyler who originally crafted the gambling story on the spot to Marie. It's this flawless combination of humor and drama that makes this scene such a masterclass in character-driven comedy and self-referential writing, and I can apply this compliment to the show as a whole and its spin-off Better Call Saul. Remove the aggressive stakes and the criminal backdrop of the show, and Breaking Bad is still one of the most compelling dramas ever, even in and especially in its often overlooked domestic setting. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you like this video, please like it and comment to support the algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.